What a time to get 100th game for Hull Kingston Rovers in a derby. Couldn't have been better, could it?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, obviously, yeah, massive game. Being a derby, it's landed on a good occasion. So looking forward to it.
Um, what does the derby mean to you? You've been here long enough now, haven't you?
Yeah, well, obviously, it's just it's a massive game. Obviously, you get out and around, and you see how passionate the fans are, and I guess that's what we play the game for. Is we play for the fans, and yeah, so it means a lot to me personally. Obviously, every game I played in, it's been a massive atmosphere and a real buzz around the town. So yeah, we'll be no different this week.
Was a game earlier in the season the best experience that you've had over here when you beat Hull FC 40 points to nil?
I guess whenever you get a win against in a derby game, it's a massive. I think probably, to be honest, probably the last game last year with obviously playing with 16. Yeah, backs against the wall. Yeah, that was a good win. But yeah, I guess any occasion that you can be a part of it, they're all special.
What's the buzz been around the camp in the build up to this? Because you're coming off a not very good performance.
Yeah, obviously, we're all pretty disappointed with the performance that we turned out last weekend. But we had a few honest conversations, and it hurt a lot of us a fair bit. So we had to put that to bed early on in the week, and now our main focus is on this week's game.
When you talk about honest conversations, were they hard conversations? A refocus, a look at yourself as a team and as an individual player. Did a few home truths need to be said?
Yeah, I think so. Obviously, yeah, we got together, and as a group, we're a pretty tight group. So, a few people we had to own up that our performance wasn't good enough, and we owned up, and yeah, it's rugby league. I guess you've got another game coming the following week, so you've got to move on pretty quickly.
Can I just ask you about the downbeat nature of Lachlan Coote having to retire, and you're losing your captain at the end of the season who's retiring as well. Does that have a psychological effect within the camp?
No, definitely not. No, obviously, them players have been a big part of what we've had, but we've faced a fair bit of adversity the last few weeks with obviously a fair bit of shuffling around and stuff like that. So it's we're probably being a bit inconsistent, but yeah, definitely not because of those two retiring.
What about your own personal form? How do you assess your own form at the moment?
Probably pretty much the same as the team. I guess we've been a little bit inconsistent and been probably playing in a few different positions, filling different spots and that. So yeah, obviously I'd love to be playing consistent, good footy, but it's been a little bit of a tough period. But we've got this week to look forward to, and yeah, looking forward to it.
Well, you committed yourself to another year at Hull Kingston Rovers. Talk to us about the mindset and the decision making on that.
Obviously the family. We've been here for a long time now, and I think that I enjoy playing for this club, and it means a lot to me, and the family's pretty settled over here, so. I think that we'll play them down pretty well, and I thought I had another year in me, and looking forward to it.
The club's on the upper, you'd like to think, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. I think we've seen that this year, obviously, with everything that's happening off the field, and on the field we've had some really good performances. So the club, I think we're gonna keep building, and looking forward to be a part of that for another year.
And there's plenty to look forward to. You got this derby coming up, but then, you've got the race for a playoff spot, and a race for, getting to Wembley, which is every rugby league player's dream, really, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. And we've had a bit of talk about that this week. We're right on the edge of the six and the top six, and obviously we've got a big semi-final coming up. So there's a lot to be looking forward to. Derby game this week, and we just got to stay as a tight knit group, and just work hard for each other, and the performances will come on the back of that.
Well, when you look at that race for the top six, it's very, very tight. I think there's 4 points in it to the second place. So, when you look at that, In context, it's always important to win a derby, but in context, it's also important to keep you where you want to be, isn't it?
Yeah, obviously, and yeah, it's really close. I think that's why Super League's been really good this year. You know, teams have it's been a bit of a roller coaster, but I think anyone on their day can cause an upset and have a win. So I think it's really good for Super League that it's really tightening the gap between the top and the bottom teams. And like you said, one performance, a good performance away, and we're back in the six.
Let's talk about the derby then. And I think you're coming up against a different Hull FC beast than you did in the first derby, which you won by 40 points to nil. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, obviously, it probably took them a little bit of time. Obviously, they had a new coach, a few new structures, and it does take time. And I think they've definitely been improving, especially over the last, I don't know, 6 weeks. They've been in some really good form. So yeah, we know it's going to be a tough game.
Yeah, you've got to look at Hull FC as though it's going to be the side that walloped St Helens, the World Club champions and last season Super League champions. You've got to come up as though you are going to play against the side that's going to play like that against you, aren't you?
Yeah, definitely. And I think over the last few weeks, they've been playing pretty consistent footy. So yeah, we know it's going to be a tough challenge.
Where's it going to be won and lost?
I think just the team that probably in the middles, to be fair. That's the derby, isn't it? It all starts with the middles, and whoever can get that roll on through the middle and dominate the other pack, I think it'll go a long way to winning the game.
Yeah, indeed. I think Willie says, the middles win you the game. The halfbacks just tell you by how much. Is that pretty much the way you look at it as well?
Yeah, 100%. The middle set the platform, and then those halves and that they play on the back of that, and they get the man of the matches and those type of things. But sometimes those efforts at the middles can go unnoticed. So that's going to be a big focus, obviously, this week.
Well, you're coming up against a couple of big boppers in Lingy Sow and Chris Sartai, aren't you? Geez, they're a big couple of blokes to handle, aren't they? If you let them get on a roll, you're in trouble.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, a couple of big boppers there. So obviously we're going to have our work cut out. We've got to help each other out there, and just help each other out in the middle.
So, in terms of your own ambitions this season, we've already talked about getting into the six, and Wembley and a Challenge Cup final. Are those achievable? Because in the next 2 or 3 weeks, those games come up. It's a situation where you've got to be at your best, haven't you? And you certainly weren't against Lee.
Yeah, 100%. They're big games, and you've got to beat your best. But like I said before, the competition's really tight this year, and on any given day, you turn up and you big chance of getting the 2 points and getting a win. So, we just got to make sure that we get our own game right and turn up with the right attitude. And like I said, we had a few honest conversations at the start of the week, and we know we've got a big few weeks ahead of us. So it all starts this week, and yeah.
Can I talk to you about the left side of Full Kingston Rovers attack? How much are you missing Jordan Abdul inside of you, and then Sean Kenny-Dowell has switched across on occasions this season. So you've broken up that Abdul, Linnett, Kenny-Dowell, Hall, potent left wing, left side attack and defence. Have you noticed that that's taken something away from the side?
It's a good question. I think Jordan, the way he started the year, he's probably the best player in the competition. So you take the best player out of the competition or the best player in your team out of any team, I think it's going to cause a bit of disruption. So I think he's obviously been a big loss for us. He's a hard person to replace, but we're all doing the boys are coming in, they're all doing their best, and that's all we can do. And hopefully things will. I think we've still been playing some good footy, but yeah, hopefully we can get that bit of continuity together now, and we can keep building.
Well, that's what it's all about, isn't it? And that's what you haven't had with Jordan out, and with Lachlan Coote retiring mid-season. That's bound to have taken that continuity out and giving it a bit of a hiss. Have you noticed that? I mean, it certainly appears on the field to be the case.
Oh yeah, definitely. Obviously, you notice it when you do your whole preseason and you work those combinations and you know how each other plays and the strengths and the weaknesses and but that's rugby league. That's why we got a whole squad and those boys are coming in. They're working hard and that's all you can ask. But yeah, you obviously do notice it. But we've got a whole squad and you just got to move on now. We're not going to get Lachlan back. Jordan probably he might not get back this year. So we just got to get on with it and that's what we'll be doing.
And you've got a new boy coming in at halfback from the Raiders as well. How much of bringing somebody in new gives it a lift and refreshes it a little bit?
Yeah, I think it'll obviously help. Obviously someone new adds a bit of competition for spots and might bring a different energy to the team. And looking forward to having him on board and seeing what he can do for us.
Yeah, you can't ever take away the importance of competition, can you?
No, definitely. And we've kind of said that from the start since Willie's come in. He wants competition for spots, and we've had a lot of injuries over the last few weeks, and we haven't had a lot of players to come in and fill those positions. So with him coming over, it'll probably add a bit more competition.
Well, the ride to the end of the season very much depends upon that consistency of selection. You'll be hoping that you can get some of it because you started off well, and as soon as sort of the injuries started to hit, that's when the problems start. So how much are you looking forward to the gods of rugby league smiling favourably upon you?
Yeah, it would be nice. I know what rugby league, it's a roller coaster. So, obviously it's not all smooth sailing and hopefully we can build a bit of continuity and, get that spine and, start working really well together. And, we've got a big game this week and we've got a big few weeks ahead of us, but we'll just take 1 week at a time.
Kane, lovely to talk to you. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Hi, Kane. How you doing?
Hey, mate.
I think I'm right in saying you made your competitive debut in the Derby, didn't you, in 2019?
Yep.
What do you? I mean, despite everything you'd been through in the NRL before that, did anything about that day kind of shock you in terms of the whole, the kind of atmosphere and everything that goes along with it?
Oh, probably the cold weather. I think we played for Red Bull that day. Just the atmosphere, I wasn't really expecting it. I know a lot of people talked about it before the game and it was a fair build-up, but, until you run out in front of the fans and see how much it means to them, I think that's when, it starts to hit home.
Because Willie was sort of alluding to the fact that in the NRL, derbies such as they aren't quite the same. They don't have that same level of intensity, same crowd noise, etc. Is that something you agree with?
Yeah, I think so. Definitely. When I was at the Cowboys, it used to be the Broncos and Cowboys derby, and obviously it was a big occasion, but it definitely wasn't as loud. And you didn't probably hear about it as much through when you go outside and walk around, and fans come up to you and the build up. I don't think it was as big as what it is over here.
How easy is it for you guys individually to sort of guard against going too far because of everything that the derby brings in terms of the whole sort of atmosphere in the build-up and everything? It'd be presumably easier for you to sort of go over the top in certain areas. Do you have to sort of consciously guard against that, in a different way than you would for normal games?
I think it's just about, training, preparing as well as you can through the week. And if you do that through the week and prepare well, it gives you the best opportunity on the weekend. So, I think once the players run out in front of the fans, they'll get up for the game.
Just finally, Willie mentioned about the teams need to rediscover its identity after last week. Is this the perfect game in which to do that?
Yeah, I think it is. We had a few conversations at the start of the week, but this is a massive game, and it's probably the perfect game for us coming off a loss like that. We can, a week later, a big game like this, you can right a lot of wrongs.